Good morning.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
So tell me it's nice and warm in Tucson.
I'm a little salty. I am a lot salty. It's currently, there we go, 35 here.
Oh, well, it's not exactly bathing suit weather.
Right, it's better than 9
Yeah.
and snow. So everybody bear with me. I'm on my iPad, not my laptop, different browser. So we'll see how this goes. Um, though I wonder how many people went back and watched our video last week, who didn't watch it live with us. What did you guys think? Um, let's see, we got a lot of our friends joining us. Karen and Angela, our good friend Rebecca, who helps make our music. Melanie, Dawn, Morimar, Melanie. Oh, because up here it was a comment about how it was their favorite part of the week. Thank you guys. Adam, good morning. And I did see pictures. It will be easier for me, and maybe Marianne and I will talk after we're done live today, like what day after I get back that we want to see about showing pictures that you guys email in, and have Marianne maybe comment on those. So that being said, if you have videos or pictures that you don't mind us showing live and you would want us to talk about, email to whenghostspeakpod@gmail.com. Let's see. Oh, yep. Amy says she watched it again. Did you guys like it? Oh, hey, Lewis. I got another offer for the same top university for another degree. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. That's great.
Now, which one are you going to pick? Are you going to be crazy and try to do 2 at the same time?
I hope not.
Let's see. Oh, Lisa says it's 1 degree in Mansfield right now.
Yeah, it is. It's just freezing. It's so deceiving because the sun is out, but boy, it's cold.
Mm. So I said, I'm not too happy that it's 35 here in Tucson. Mother Nature.
Yeah, but what is it, 8 o'clock in the morning there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the forecast for this afternoon?
Let me see. So by like 2 o'clock, it'll be 64.
Well, you don't even have to wear, just sweater is good enough. You don't even need a coat.
That's right. Well, I mean, yesterday, me and Lori walking around, t-shirts, leggings, and and have to remember some of these vendors are from other countries, like down south. And they've got winter coats, boots with fur lining, and they're like, it's so cold. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, you don't know cold.
We're just glad it's not snowing. Here's a good question. Kelly says, good morning. Have you ladies ever related bipolar or mental issues to an earthbound spirit oppressing them?
Yes, and I've said this before. I don't believe that half the people that are in mental institutions really need to be there. They either have negative energy on them that's causing this, or they definitely have a ghost attached to them, and in some rare instances, probably even possessed. So, yeah, and I work with a lot of mental health specialists that actually have me do some work on some of their inpatients. So, yeah, and it helps, it makes a difference.
So Swifty says, a friend paid $20 for a ghost tour of the Madison Seminary. I told her she wasted her money because the place is abandoned. What do you say, Marianne? And we're getting ready to be there.
Well, that's where we're supposed to go sometime in the future here directly. And that is going to work like Mansfield Prison. It's vacant, it's empty, nobody's there till they end up with a crowd or an event there. As soon as the event starts, people will start, the ghosts will start coming in. Plus the fact, how do we know who's ever signed up and is sitting there in the audience doesn't have somebody attached to them, that it came with them?
Hmm.
You never know.
Right. Lewis says university allows him the chance to study abroad. So that's really cool.
Oh, maybe you can come in this direction.
Yeah, I think he would have a fan party showing up. Everybody go meet Lewis.
Right. We could all meet at a restaurant and have fun.
Uh, let's see. So Danielle says, question, why do people get sentenced to life plus 25 years in jail? Once they pass, will that extra sentence impact their decision to cross over? And if they cross over, will they serve that extra time?
No, once the prisoner dies, that's it. I mean, there's no more life until you're dead. And no, it's over and it's done. That finishes it. So, and they killed somebody or they were really bad. Do you really think that they care if any more time would be attached to them anyhow? They don't care. They just, their attitudes are so bad.
Right. Um, Somebody's asking if I have a cold. I don't have a cold. I do have allergies. And the houses here in Tucson, nobody has carpet. So it's a very echoey um, situation on top. And I think I just heard Lori get up, but I've been up for 2 hours because I'm still on Ohio time. So I'm also trying to be quiet and not wake up the other people in the house in a very echoey house. So, and I'm just on my iPad. I don't have anything with me like I normally do when I'm back at home. Um, Patrick says, regarding portals, are the spirits that use portals like attached to the portal network, or can they go anywhere they want to, like other spirits?
Patrick, they can go anywhere they want to as long as there is a portal that they can get out of and into the space they want to be. And there's portals everywhere. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I find portals in a regular nice neighborhood. You can imagine like the seminary, Madison Seminary, or the same thing with the prisons. You're going to have a bunch more portals that is normal. But yes,
Yeah, well, apparently that part of Cleveland where we were with Margie, that has a whole interlaced network.
yeah, because that street alone, according to what Clarence said, almost forgot
Mhm.
his name. Um, there were portals in other houses on that street that he had been in. So, and again, it's just a nice, quiet little street. I mean, it's not like it's in the hood or something in a bad neighborhood. So,
Mhm.
everywhere, anywhere.
Let's see. Lewis asked, do you think that during any of the witch trials that happened across the world, do you think that any of the accused had actual gifts that drew attention to themselves, like abilities?
I I have no idea. I would have no idea. To my knowledge, I've never run across a spirit of somebody that was put to death in that time period, so I do not know. You know, people that are in covens nowadays, modern covens, they think of it as an organized religion. I mean, and they're not bad people. There's good and bad Catholics. There's good and bad Jews. There's good and bad Baptists. There's good and bad people that practice witchcraft. So it's, I'm sure that it's varied like everything else.
Mhm. Let's see. Rebecca asks, does making the white light or communicating with spirits tire you out?
You know, Rebecca, that doesn't bother me. It's the living people that have a bazillion questions. That can get tiring, especially when you're repeating the same answers over and over and over and over again. So some days I would just like to say, here's my book, read it. That'll answer all your questions.
Hmm.
But that's not polite. So
Um, can negative energy removal cure someone of pain or illness? I did it on my friend, and her longtime kidney disease went into remission right afterward.
and I'll tell you why. When you have negative energy on you from a curse or, just a bazillion different names for negative energy, but when you've got it on you, the three things that it can affect are health, money, or relationships. And if it's one for health, as soon as it's removed, it shows a huge, huge difference. You see a big difference. So you didn't cure her kidney disease, but whatever she was doing for the disease as far as medications or dialysis or whatever is working now because you took the negative energy off. There's the difference.
Um, Sue says, when you are clearing out a house, do any earthbounds want to ask you lots of questions because they are confused on what has happened to them, especially children?
No, that's TV and the movies. When somebody dies, by God, they know they're dead. How do they not stand out of their body and look at their body however they died? A car crash, a hospital, falling down the basement steps and breaking your neck. Your spirit comes out and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm dead. So these ghost shows that say they didn't know they were dead, baloney, they certainly know they're dead.
Right.
Children, on the other hand, I feel bad for them because they stayed because of mommy and daddy, and then time has a way of, you move forward, and it's not that the parents never think of that child again, but life goes on. And if they've been dead for 60 or 70 or 80 years, parents are probably dead too at this point. That is why, or one of the reasons why kid ghosts hang out together. Adult earthbound spirits do not, but children do. But again, kids are gravitated to kids whether they're alive or dead.
Mm. Um, yeah, so Sandy, referring back to Salem, she says, I feel like there were so many things going on during those trials. Who's to say? And maybe we should try a Salem trip at some point, Marianne, and just
I don't know.
not not during
I
the
was
season.
there. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. They were
Okay,
making a lot of money on.
on the history aspect, and
There you
ooh,
go. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, yeah. Let's leave it with that.
an interesting question. I don't think we've ever had. It says, "Have you ever met an Earthbound who fell in love with a human?"
Wow. There are succubuses and incubuses, and of course, that's all about the sex. But there are people that when they cross over, they're worried about who leaving their loved ones, especially if it's a spouse. So they don't cross over waiting for the husband or the wife or the significant other. And they see that when they stick around that person that they get sick all the time, so they leave. Um, and come and just check on them because they don't want them to be sick. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why people do not cross over because they think they're protecting their children or loved ones.
Hmm. And then, quick question back to the prisons. Liz is asking, has a running, functioning prison ever asked you to come in?
No, I'm impressed that they asked me from county jails to bring in, and there's prisoners in there when I go in for that. But it's really funny. These sheriffs or these police departments bring me in like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't come in during day hours for some reason. I would like to do it during the day, but they like to do it at night. So for
Right.
whatever reason,
Amanda says, what can you do when negative energy is generated by a living person you can't approach?
There's different things that you can do to try to block them from, you know, doing anything to you. But the best way, because if somebody is just they're going to get you no matter what. The only thing that is going to stop that 100% is a Quincy, a charm. If you have a charm on, nobody can ever put negative energy on you again. If your house is cleared and the seeds are up over the doors, who's ever living in that house, they can't they can't break that barrier and put any negative energy on you. Now walk out to the driveway to the mailbox to get your mail for the day. You didn't have your Quincy charm on you. Yeah, there's a possibility somebody could zap you outside. But if you've got your charm on you, you're not going to be zapped again. So have somebody do the clearing on you, wear a charm, and you'll be good.
Oh, right. And Lewis says, I know we've spoken about little folk, but what is your stance on vampires?
I believe that there is some truth to all of that lore about vampires and werewolves and all of that. If there's little folk, there's going to be that part too. And I think they have come, they meaning whoever they always refer to, I think they've decided that, it was a mental illness. uh, there are still people today that actually drink blood. That's what they do. uh, and and I'm sorry, I have to say that I would have to say there's a touch of mental illness there too.
Jeff asks, I'm curious, have you ever experienced anything that has caused you to question the linear quality of time, like an arrow of time?
You know what? I think I question that a lot when the little folk jump in and out of different dimensions because I don't know. I'm not very scientific at all, and I don't know parallel lives, parallel, days, all of that stuff. So, yeah, I believe it's probably possible.
Brittany asks, if I'm wearing a quinseed, am I safe from curses?
Yeah, now if you have negative energy on you and you put the charm on, it is not going to take it off of you. It still has to be removed, but then you put the charm on and nobody can ever do it to you again. Plus the fact that negative energy attracts negative energy. So even if you've got negative energy on you and you wear a curse, no more is going to come on you. So it's a total win-win.
Have you ever been in the White House?
I have. And yes, there are ghosts there. And nobody took me very seriously because I was a Girl Scout when we went to the White House. I was like 12 or 13. And yes, I was a Girl Scout till I was 18, believe it or not. My mother had this thing that once you joined something, you had to stay, no matter when you wanted to get out. And so, yeah, yep, there are definitely ghosts in the White House. There are ghosts attached to people coming through the White House. What is worse in the White House is that almost everybody in that White House, staff, guards, the people checking, going through the machine to make sure you don't have any metal on you, almost every one of them has got negative just energy all over them. So I don't think a lot of people like a lot of people that work at the White House.
Imagine that.
Yeah, how about that? And I'm sure some have it worse than others.
Dawn asks, will watching scary horror movies all the time draw Earthbound's attention?
No, watch whatever you want on TV. That has nothing to do with it. And a ghost cannot get energy from a TV show. Now, you're watching a creepy show and it scares you. Yeah, they can get energy from you watching it, but it does not attract them to come. Why would they want to watch it on TV when that's what they are?
And let's see. Vangela says, "What are your thoughts on the Cecil Hotel? I've been listening to crime podcasts, and that place has got to be crazy."
I don't know what that is.
I'm not familiar with that one so much, or at least off the top of my head.
California. It's the one where the lady disappears randomly on the TV.
Oh, so Lori, who's here with me, is saying it's a hotel out in California, and there's a lady. Like, I guess they actually have cameras up all the time running, like that one library over in, what is it, Indiana, Illinois. So you can log in and watch it. And you'll see her, and she'll just disappear.
And they find her in the water tower later, and then they're like, nobody can get in this water tower. There's no feasible way.
Oh, she was that young girl that went missing out of the okay. So remember that news story, the young lady who they see her in the elevator, and she just disappeared. Nobody could find her, and everybody was reporting that the water tasted funny in the hotel when they were making their coffee and stuff. And then her body was found up in the water tower.
Okay, now it sounds like some kind of a story off of Criminal Minds. I don't have any idea.
Unfortunately,
I don't know.
It goes,
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures and all that kind of on there.
yeah, I guess a lot of the TV ghost people groups have gone out there to this place. So
Right there, with that big of a crowd and that many people going to these places, in my world, that would raise a red flag to me.
it would be interesting. And I'm also one of those people, like if I'm staying somewhere and it's supposed to be haunted, I'm like, what's the most haunted room? Put me in that one. Bring it.
Yeah, but in a hotel, if in hotels, inns, motels, B&Bs, they all have spirits in them. It doesn't make any difference which room you're in. If they want to see what's going on, they're going to come in whether you like it or not.
Right. OC and Annie says, I think there's a Netflix documentary about the Cecil. The girl's name was Alyssa Lamb, who went missing.
Oh gosh, you guys are really informative about that. See, I just don't watch that much TV.
Let's see. Let me scroll back up. I was scrolling down to keep current, so we don't have to keep going back. Rebecca says she's still a Girl Scout.
Rebecca, send a note to Ted and let him know if you got that stuff in the mail and what you thought.
So Michelle says, my sister passed away a little over a year ago. I bought a dream bag, and it's not helped me remember my dreams, and I haven't had dreams of my sister.
Michelle, it can be up to 2 years before somebody has a dream of somebody that died. So that doesn't mean that, you're still not. Check around to see if anybody else has had a dream of her, another relative, another sibling, somebody. And if that's the case, then she could be just afraid that if she came to you in a dream that it would upset you too much. That happens a lot with spouses. They'll come to their children, but they won't come to the living wife or husband because they're afraid it's going to upset them. So that may be the case. But no, that doesn't. And of course, unfortunately, that could mean that she is earthbound too. So that's why you need to check around to see if somebody else has had a dream of her. First one, it's at least 6 months. And like I said, it can be up to 2 years.
Let's see. Amanda says, if you close a portal before the ghost goes through it, are they trapped in that place?
Yes, they are. And that's the threat that I use when they can't decide what they want to do. Again, they have choices. I can make the bright white light and they can go where they're supposed to go. They have to jump back in the portal. Those are the only two choices they have. And if I close the portal and I tell them, if I close the portal, you are stuck here and you could never leave, that doesn't fly at all. They like it that they have the freedom of going in and out of other portals and other places. So, yeah. Now, I don't know why, and that's going to be the next question from somebody. I know when they come through a portal, they can only stay a day and a half, 2 days at the most. I don't know why. But I do know that if they don't go into the portal, they're going to be stuck in that house and they don't disappear. We've had people on Zoom that have gone ahead and put up the seeds before we were sure it was clear. They've trapped ghosts in their house. So you have to make sure the house is clear before the seeds go up. Um, but with the one out of the portal, you wouldn't even have to worry about it because they can't leave the house.
We should have thought to ask Clarence that.
Yeah,
Darn it. I'm going to have to make a list of all the things to ask.
I've been getting letters on people asking all kinds of questions about it. And the YouTube today is going to be the second half of it, which most of all of you have probably seen the whole thing. But those that only watch YouTube only got the first half last Wednesday. They'll get the second half this Wednesday. And next Wednesday, I'll be answering the questions about the clearing. So the people are definitely asking questions.
Let's see. Have you been to the Stanley Hotel?
I know of the Stanley Hotel, and I was in Colorado, and we were going to go to it, and it was closed for, and I don't remember why it was closed, but we couldn't get into it. I never saw. I believe that The Shining was made in that hotel, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And again, watching TV, I can't tell if there's ghosts or earthbound spirits in a place or not. I guess that's why it shocks me so much that I can tell on Zoom, because in my world, that's just a TV, but obviously it's not.
Let's see. Do you still work with law enforcement to help solve murders?
I do. When they call, I go and see what they want.
Let's see. I know Lewis asked, do I work or worship any deities and what realm do they live on? I used to do the whole altar thing and have certain deities. And now I just kind of, depending on what the client needs and who they work with. My healing mesa has their own, like, little deities, I guess, if you will. But I am not your, I guess, normal, typical pagan in that I have an altar to a certain god or goddess that I have to do ritual to. If nothing else, there are times I love learning about other religions and cultures. But when I hear, like, you have to spend 10 minutes doing this every day and do this and worship them on this, and I'm like, look, I used to be a regular Catholic and that shit was exhausting. I'm not going to do it in the pagan world either. If I can't communicate spiritually and let them know gratitude or thanks or ask for help, and I have to do all of this exuberant work, something's missing spiritually for me in my world. Like, to sit there and have constant burning candles and altars, and then, no, it's not for me. Have you been to the Myrtles Plantation? That's down in Louisiana.
No, I have not.
That one's got a pretty good history on that one too. Let's see. A lot of talks between one another. So Sherry's like, are there good fairies too, or are they all bad? And are fairies and pixies different?
They're they're all in the same lump, fairies and pixies, because they're usually the tiny little bitty ones. And again, they're not all bad. There are good ones if they're in their own element. You bring them in an element that they are not used to or don't belong in, and they're going to be naughty. So, but no, I mean, it's like when we went that one year, many years ago, and dug a Christmas tree. They're called bald Christmas trees because they put them in burlap. And we dug the hole in October to plant it after Christmas was over. And it wasn't a big tree, 3.5, 4 feet, but we brought it in, decorated it and everything. And there were definitely sprites in that tree, and oh, they caused all kinds of problems. They were angry that the tree came in the house, and that's what happens sometimes.
Sandy asks, while we're talking about portals, can they be blown open in houses that already have seeds up?
Oh, yes. Keep this in mind. Portals are blown open by live people, not dead people. So, absolutely, that's why I tell people after I've been in a house and closed a portal or the seeds are up, you're going to fight with somebody, take it outside. Scream and yell outside. Two things will happen. You won't blow open a portal in the house. And if you're loud enough, somebody will call the cops and it'll be over.
I always think of, you know, back when people would like, do you want to take this outside?
And
Like,
you know what? And I wonder sometimes if that's why that ever came about. Yeah, yeah. We're gentlemen. Let's take it outside. No, we're not stupid. We're not blowing open a portal. We'll take it outside.
right. Let's see. Um, oh, Karen says, what happens if somebody tries to remove a portal and they are unsuccessful? Successful. You mentioned it could get worse.
Yeah, it has to be done in a fluid motion. And you have to be standing. I would have to be standing with somebody trying to show somebody how to do it in person. It is not something that is step one, step two, step three on a computer. And it's got to be closed totally. And if it's not, it just makes it all the worse because it'll break up in other parts and it'll be way bigger or spread, which is what you do not want.
Let's see. We've talked about Franklin Castle. Have you been to Franklin Castle? It's been a while since we've talked about it.
Yeah, I know about Franklin Castle. Been there. That castle has been so many different things, but definitely that is haunted. There's no doubt about it. And there have been some Ghostbusters that have been in and actually did recordings on it. You know, they were in there in the middle of the night with their infrared cameras, which I'm so glad I don't have to carry that junk around with me.
Better gas mileage going in.
You got it.
And I saw the question. I can't find it now because there's so much talk going on. Can portals ever be formed on a ceiling?
I've never found one on a ceiling. And if you think about it, when a portal is blown open, it's relatively close. In other words, those two that were in the video that we did, the fights occurred right almost directly to where I was standing when I closed it. And we're not usually close to a ceiling. So I would say no.
Here's the question. Says, is it possible to have a portal on a ceiling? Usually prefer sleeping on top of a bunk bed. When I sit up on the top of the bed, I can feel air coming out of the ceiling and on the cement wall. When I lay down staring at the ceiling, I can see little waves of light, like sort of a radiation.
Well, what you're describing could be energy from a portal. But you said there's a cement wall. You have to keep this in mind too. Portals are only on inside walls, and ceilings would be inside. Um, I won't say no because I don't know, but it's possible. Just like over the years, I have found it in a basement floor, a few times, which is not usual.
Lisa, back to the whole taking the fight, and she says, take the fights outside so the neighbors can watch.
No, there you go. Yeah, that'll stop it too.
Place their bets.
Yeah, right.
Michelle asks, why does a portal have to form in a building? Why can't it be outside?
I think because It's the negative energy that blows one open, and inside of a structure, it's contained.
Hmm.
When you're outside, you can argue and fight, but it drifts away because it's not enclosed, and that's why there's none outside.
Hmm. Um, let's see. Any more new ones here? Um, and now everybody's all the places you've been or haven't been. Have you been to the Queen Mary?
The show Ghost Whisperer was filmed once on the Queen Mary, yeah.
Did you see the ship captain and all them running around and
Let's face it, a cruise ship is like a hotel on water. You think there's ghosts there? Oh, yeah.
let's see. Looking for anything we might have missed. So, okay. Where did it just go? Sherry says, when moving into an in law's house, I got lots of energies in the trees. It felt not good. I felt they were old. Do you have any idea what they could be?
I do not. Maybe if I got a call from under the tree or something like that, I could tell. Uh, but nature has its own balance of energy. I mean, anything that's living has energy. And, I've been in the redwoods in California, and the energy in there is phenomenal. And so, I'm sure maybe it's just plain old energy you're picking up on.
Let's see. Sanius, what's good advice or best advice for anyone looking to buy a new house? How to avoid a house with an earthbound or a portal?
Well, the way, once I've done a house for somebody, that's the question they always ask. Well, if we sell, what are we going to do? So I get so many phone calls from people going, I'm in a house right now looking at it. Is this house okay? Do you think we should buy it? Are there any ghosts in here? Listen, you find something you really like and you want it, whatever is there can be fixed. Don't hold off or hold back because of a ghost or the house feels creepy to you. You find a house that has 90% of what you want, buy it, and it can be fixed.
Margie just says, just to call you.
No, don't. It's bad enough in January and February. People that I've done work for 40 and 50 years ago call every January and February. It's the beginning of the year. Is my house still clear? 99% of them don't have anything in it. All they do is give me more legal yellow pads to go through.
Michelle says, I've heard a theory that shadow people are people that are astral projecting. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? That sounds like it be a possibility. I know how to astroplane, and I guess if I ever ended up in a house, somebody could pick up on my energy. Maybe I'll go along with that. It could be.
Mm-hmm. Um, let's see.
Over the years, you learn never to say never, because the first time you say never, it's going to hit you up the side of the head. So it's like possibly.
um, let's see. Joe says, morning, ladies. If there's an earthbound spirit in your home seen once, which was his mom, could there be a portal open or are they just visiting? This happened to my mom at work as well. I grabbed her leg.
That does not mean you have a portal. Absolutely not. The best way to tell if you've got a portal is because when somebody comes out of a portal, they can only stay for a day and a half or two. While they're there, they're going to create all kinds of misery for who's ever living in the house. So you've got a day or 2 days that everything is upside down and crazy. And just when you think, oh my God, something's here, they leave. And then everything's normal for 3 or 4 days. Oh my gosh. And then it happens again. That's how most people can tell they've got something going on in the house. If you've got an earthbound spirit there that walked in through your patio door, your garage door, your front door, they can leave whenever they want, or they can stay as long as they want. So you're going to have trouble constantly. But if it's on and up and off and on, you probably got something coming out of a portal.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Whoops. Here we go. Me trying to.
Yep, he's right.
Let's see. There we go. iPad, smaller screen, and touching the screen instead of using buttons. City says, when people go into the light, do they suddenly become all holy, nice, and friendly? No.
They're not, if they made it into the light and they're learning what they're supposed to learn when they go in, because I believe people go in at different levels. When I die and I go in the light, I'm sure I'm not going to the level that Mother Teresa's at. So, and I think you learn at whatever level and that's when you decide if you want to come back and be reincarnated or not. And so I think we did it this past Zoom. Somebody's mother-in-law, no, ex-father-in-law, she should have nothing to do with this lady, ex-father-in-law, been to the light, but he's still snooping, but he's not. I guess you would, if somebody accused me of snooping, I think I would say, no, I wasn't snooping, I'm just curious. Makes a difference.
Inquiring minds want to know.
There you go.
Patrick says, do you have any ghost friends that you met a few years ago that popped back and forth to see and say hi?
No, Patrick, I'm surprised because all the people that I've let into the light, they could come back in my dreams, of course, but to my knowledge, no. Mm-mm. No, but like I said, at an event a few years back, somebody said, because sometimes I embellish a little so that they go into the light, oh yeah, your mother's right there waiting for you. Why don't you go? And it's more important to get them to the light. So this person stood up and they said, how many people are going to be so angry at you when you go in the light that they're going to really jump all over you? It's like, oh, great. Like, no, they're in the light, so it's not going to happen. So I don't know. I have to wait and see.
So Judith says, I've called you 2 times since summer, but I haven't heard from you. Are you busy?
Remember, my phone is a punch button phone, no caller ID. If your calls are being blocked, I have no way of knowing. That's why I tell people if you haven't heard from me for 2 or 3 times that you've tried to call, write. That's the best way for me to get a hold of you. I don't know if you've called or not.
Dawn says, I'm going to be the same clown I am now when she crosses.
Good. If you're that confident, go for it.
And says, do we have to reincarnate? I'm not sure I want to come back here.
No, that's your choice. I joke about it. Yeah, I know I have to come back and do it over again with one person in particular, but I'm going to wait until they get the world right before I come back. I'm not going to come back to this mess again.
Amanda says, seems like criminals never make it into the light because they're afraid, so it must be criminal free.
Yeah, maybe, but don't forget there are some ghosts that have been in the portal long enough that they really want to go to the light. Most of them, how to put this. When I was younger, most of them didn't go into the light. Now that I'm older, most of them do go into the light. Clarence did not, but a lot of them do. They know that there's got to be more than that, and they're willing to take their chances, I guess.
Mm. Sherry says, I can see my spirit guides. What's the difference between ancestors there to help and ghosts that haunt?
Well, everybody has spirit guides, and uh, and if you can see spirit guides, this tells me that you can see people from the white light, which means those are probably the only kind that you can see because it is extremely rare to see both kinds. You either see one or the other. And so if you're seeing relatives or ancestors from past lives, that means that they've crossed over. So you're in good company.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, and we, if you watch the video, like Clarence was afraid of his mother. When
Yeah,
she put the
right.
finger in him.
Yeah, he said his mother had it all over God. So yeah, he was. That's who he was afraid of, his mother. But don't you
Oh,
wonder what happened when he was a child? And I don't excuse it because you still have free will, but
mhm.
you just wonder.
Yeah. She either did a really good job being that mom of scaring the heck out of her kids, or maybe unfortunately, he had a really
Roll
bad
into it.
yeah, that kind of put him on the wrong path, and for whatever reason, he didn't correct as an adult.
Right. You know,
Um,
being a parent is a hard job.
yes, yes. Um, let's see. Clarence's mom going to throw her shoe at him. She's going to throw the chocolate.
Yeah, I think he was a little more afraid of that than a shoe.
Yeah.
This was a big guy.
Coins says, why don't we remember reincarnation and our past life? Is it because it's blocked until we're in other dimensions? Or in
You know, I think that's part of it. Plus the fact that when you come back and you reincarnate, you know you pick the family you're going to be with, you pick your parents, you know exactly how long you're going to live. You can't remember that stuff. How could you live your whole life going, oh yeah, I made a deal when I'm 45, I'm going to get hit by a bus. You couldn't live your whole life doing
Mhm.
that. But I have to tell you, there are some people that just have had a feeling their whole life that they weren't going to live long. And I
Mhm.
wonder sometimes if that isn't a little hiccup when you got reincarnated, that little bit of information stuck with you. Because, I mean, and I've run across more than one person that is absolutely convinced that they're not going to live very long. And it's happened in a couple cases where they did die before they were 45 or 50. So,
Mhm. So Judith says, thank you for sharing all your wisdom. My question is, I live next door to a practicing Wiccan. Can a portal be open that affects my home? Lately, I've witnessed shadows quickly that disappear once I look up at the direction. I felt being watched for about 2 days outside now, um, inside, but quiet for a few days. Any thoughts?
no, you can't, somebody can't throw a portal at you or at your house. So, no, it would have to be blown open inside the house. And again, just because somebody is a Wiccan doesn't mean that's a bad person. That is their form of religion. And and I have to tell you, most people are very much okay with Native Americans' belief system, Mother Earth and all that. You would be very surprised to know how close Wiccan religion is to Native American.
Mhm.
It's very, very close.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, like the whole witchcraft wicked like gets a bad rap, unfortunately. Like go do your own research and read about other religions before,
Before you
you know.
pick on one. That's right. And that's what it
Yeah.
boils down to. Rottweilers have a bad rap. Pit bulls have a bad rap. there's good ones too. They're not all bad.
Uh, let's see. Uh, do. Sam's like still trying to figure out why I picked this slide. Me too, sister.
Yeah, don't you wonder? Sometimes if you get regressed and you see what you did in a past life, sometimes this life makes more sense. But you have to really go to a person that knows what they're doing when they regress you. And
Yeah.
no, I personally don't know anybody. The person that I suggested has died. So,
Let's see. Okay, Courtney, you keep asking. My grandfather just passed away in October, and I was wondering how I can tell if my grandfather is in the light or not.
dreams, that's the only way. October 21, it's it's been it's been months. So again, do the same thing I just, we told that other gal in the beginning. If you're going to see him in dreams, it takes at least 6 months for the first one. It can take up to 2 years. So you got a lot of time to go. And again, keep checking with other relatives or close friends of his, or if your grandma's still alive, has she had a dream of him? As long as somebody had a dream of him, he's where he's supposed to be.
Let's see. See if there's anything.
Oh, while you're looking,
Yeah.
there's a new moon next Tuesday. So I won't be able to, because we meet on Wednesday, it'll be the day after. So the new moon is on the 1st of February. For us, the Eastern Standard Time, it's at 12:46 a.m. For us, we're going to have to stay up after midnight, but write it before, like 1:45 in the morning. Set your clock, get up, stay up late. But people that are in different time zones, it'll be much easier for them, but it'll be a rough one for us on next Tuesday. So just a heads up. Plus, we're still in a Mercury retrograde until February 3rd, a little bit on the 4th. And Melissa's not going to say anything this time. And so there you go. You are not saying anything this time.
Let's see. There was a question. I remember now. Somebody asked that because they don't have anybody that can do the ceremony for them. If that's something that we offer, and I've done it a few times. And Marianne, you've had a couple people come and ask me to do it for them.
Oh yeah, you know how to do it. Like I said, it's just follow the instructions in the book. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, okay, so I think we went through everything. Everybody's just commenting and talking amongst themselves. So we still have, we've got Zoom coming up in February that has openings for it. And Zoom is if you want to find out if you have any earthbound spirits in your house or your work, but you must be in the building that you have the question about during this event. It is limited, so please don't wait till the last minute to try and sign up. Don't call me wanting to know why the link is broken, that it won't let you in. It's because it's full.
The next one is on Friday, February 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So,
yes. When is the next podcast?
Wednesday. Podcasts are on Wednesdays. Is that what you're talking about?
No, podcast. The recording, the listening.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's not on my desk. So
I'm gonna have to fold it in a piece of paper and zip it
Right.
over.
No. Keep it. I will be at your store on the 19th of
Mhm.
Saturday the 19th from 4 to 5:30 for just, talk, bringing pictures. Let me see what you got. And then there'll be a talk from 6 to about 7:30. But
There we
you
go.
have to get hold of Gotta See the Lead to sign up for the talk, not for the greet and meet. You can just come in. And the talk is only for 18 and over.
Hmm. We have room still for our Madison Seminary event coming up in March. We have the 5 to 8 time slot, and we also have the 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So you can find those on our list of events on the website, goddesselite.com. What else do we have, Marianne? We got the Merry-Go-Round Museum up again.
Yep,
So,
that's so much fun. And we're working on some other things, but got to be iffy with this weather too. Hopefully we'll get through February with no big storms.
right, shush, shush,
Yes,
do not.
exactly. Don't even bring it up. Right. And of course, there's many people that like heat, like snow, so move to the mountains. Keep it up there.
I know when we were leaving, it was like, bring back some warmth with you. I'm like, I'm going to try. I'm really going to try.
Yeah.
Let's get on the plane to come back. I mean, Lori has one job: make sure I come back to Ohio. But then she used to live here, and so she's like, I may not want to go back either. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, I
there
guess
you
we're.
go.
Oh, what else you got, Marianne?
I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're real good. I just there's been a couple people that would like to do their houses on this again. They would like to just do regular ghost removal, not portal removal.
Hmm.
We'll, run it by me. Let's see what you got. Maybe it's something we can do.
Yeah, did you hear back from Anton from last week?
He,
Did he give you a
yeah,
call?
yeah, he did leave a message. Uh the thing of it is I don't know where he was at when he left the message. And so if he happens to be listening to this today, if you were at your house when you left this message, there's nothing there. So I don't know what you're picking up on unless you were not calling from where you think the problem is.
Okay. Whoop. Come back. Sorry.
There you go.
I,
I have to say you
yeah.
disappeared there for a minute.
See, I'm telling you, you get me off of my regular scheduled devices for this, and everything goes wonky. Um, I think that's everything we got planned and coming up. There's a few others that I'm waiting for, communication back, dates, times, all that fun stuff. So otherwise, we are here 99% of the time every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So invite friends, come join us. The more the merrier. More fun questions, more fun points of view. Um, Otherwise, I'm out. I don't think I have anything else left to
No, I think we're
say.
good. And we ended up right at 11, so this worked out pretty good.
Like, we normally can't do that. Normally we're way over and we're both going,
I
crap, we gotta
know.
go.
Well, you have to go. I know you have to get to what you have to do. So,
Yeah, I've got to go set up my rock vending
right.
space and go
What
collect
time?
more rock. So that's the
What
fun
time?
thing. Well, the show opens at 10, but today is the setup day, and then we officially open for business tomorrow at 10.
Oh,
But
okay.
some of the other vendors and other shows are already kind of opening, allowing wholesalers to come in. And yesterday, Lori and I thankfully managed to fit into the car after gathering things. Um, so that was the Nissan Rogue filled up, and that's not even
Oh
all
my
of the vendors.
gosh.
Like there's two others that I have to go pick up. One Wednesday, one's Thursday, and there are still others that I haven't even got to yet. So those that will be in the Cleveland area coming in to see you, there's a good chance that some of that stuff will already be arriving into the store from being thrown on pallets and shipped. So, yeah. So, and we're going to be doing lives on the store's Instagram and Facebook showing what we've gotten nightly. So they can
Cool.
see it there.
Good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and please give the videos a likes on our YouTubes and Facebooks and stuff. That way, that's how Facebook knows to show it to you and remind you that we're doing this. So, but all right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next
Thank you.
week.
Have a good week. Be safe.